The Business of Art, brought to you by the Video Department. So where are we? It's Tuesday. We're in the middle of August. What is your week like this week? We're gonna do just a nice soft start.
We're okay. Soft start. I don't know. That might be a soft start from your perspective. I was actually looking at my calendar this morning, and it's kind of so. Wait, just this week. Let's start. Today's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing a small pop-up at Ardent Barrel Room.
Okay.
Thursday night.
Is that like a regular gig? Because I know you were doing that last week too.
It's a regular gig. Yeah. So I'm there every Thursday from 6 to 9 for the foreseeable future.
Awesome.
There's no end date on it. So there's that Thursday. And pretty much Friday, Saturday is completely tied up getting ready for a big dinner party on Saturday.
Okay. Is it like a private thing?
It's a private event.
That's awesome.
For 20 people. There's 7 dishes on the menu. So that's Saturday. Then I'm going to get ready for doing another thing on Blue Bee Cider the Sunday morning. All while working a few shifts at a restaurant where I am part-time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're wondering who we're hearing about, this is Brennan Griffith.
Right.
Owner of, say the name of your truck for me.
Nam Prik Pao.
Nam Prik Pao.
Nam Prik Pao, yeah.
If you have not followed them on social media, do, because they do great work.
Please.
And it's very,
great work.
The menus are always creative. I'm always curious to see what's going to be on the menu. And then, of course, it's, basic food porn.
Yeah, exactly. That was the point. That was okay. Good.
So, if you're just tuning in, we are catching up about Brennan's upcoming gigs, and it sounds like he's got a wide variety. Mm-hmm. But let's not jump right into where you are now. Let's go back, and this is another. I love doing interviews where I'm meeting someone for the first time because it just makes it very natural to get to know you.
Right? Yeah.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Surrey County, Virginia.
Okay, where is that? Southwest.
It's south and east of here.
Okay.
It's you know where those ferries are, or where the Jamestown and Williamsburg.
Yep. So
once you take those ferries, you're in Surrey.
Okay.
Yeah. So Small town. When I lived there was a single blinking light, which has since been upgraded to a full blown red light. Like it's green, red now. So yeah, it's a stoplight now. So Surrey County, it's expanding. It's
what's like the approximate population?
Gosh. Well, I'm not sure what it is now, but how about this? My graduating class was 60 people.
Wow, 60. Wow,
60.
That's one of the smallest I think we've had on the pod.
Okay, so and since then, my mom was actually telling me about this. There's apparently some kind of population crisis.
Oh, okay.
In Surrey.
Yeah.
Which means that the population has decreased. It was like by 20% over a course of a few years, which apparently is like
not meeting the replacement rate.
It's a whole yeah. So like, I never thought of a population crisis before, but apparently that's where I'm from.
Yeah, I think that's probably happening a lot in smaller towns that have lost industry over the years. People are struggling to pay bills, and so they're afraid to have kids. And,
totally.
Yeah.
I can really see that out there.
Yeah.
Not much in the way of job opportunities, let alone not much in the way in food options.
Sure. Yeah, I bet.
Growing up, so we would drive half an hour both ways to go get like Chinese takeout.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't know. That seemed pretty, I don't want to say desperate.
But probably just
we were committed.
A pretty basic
we needed
takeout too.
Right. Is it okay if I
Yeah.
have my coffee out like this?
Absolutely. We're chill. Hear those slurps.
Yeah. So, grew up in Surrey County.
Did you go to college?
Yes. There. I dabbled. Yeah. So Oh man, I went to Thomas Nelson Community College.
Okay.
I was doing the 2 years there, transferred to university, and I actually so 2 years there, and then I went to Regent University for that. That was a whole very interesting era.
What did you study there?
I was there for their telecommunications degree, so doing video work.
That is what they're good at down there.
Yeah. So, and two, I had a full ride scholarship there. So I felt like, I didn't want to pass up free school.
Yeah, it's a beautiful campus too.
It is.
It's a beautiful. It reminds me of University of Richmond a little bit in terms of how it's laid out. The only experience I have there is there was a theater company that briefly performed in their space in Norfolk. It was like a semi-professional theater company. They maybe had a couple seasons. I don't think they're still going. But man, yeah. And I know that they're known for their media.
Right. So there's that.
And it's a Christian university?
It is.
Like general Christian? Not like Baptist or specific?
Yeah, I guess it's general.
Yeah.
I'm not though now.
Right.
So
you were then.
I was then.
Right.
I'm not now.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a whole other.
Right. Did Regent have anything to do with that?
No. That was all my own personal decision.
Sure. Nothing other than maybe subconsciously.
Right. So, but yeah, I took some culinary school classes
at Regent.
After that, oh no, that was at the Virginia Culinary Institute.
Oh, okay.
The Culinary Institute of Virginia, okay. Which is in Newport News. So yeah, it's kind of my college career.
What was the Culinary Institute of Virginia like? What was that experience like?
So it was. The program is one of those accelerated programs. So I was, a class was 5 hours long. So learn some interesting things. I definitely, it kind of seemed like a blur because I had a full-time job. I was doing dinner stuff on the side as like a hobby thing. And then I was also taking classes in the evenings. So sometimes it didn't feel like I was going to school. It felt like it was a part-time job because I was doing it in the evenings. And we'd get out of the class like 10:30. And, but yeah, learned a lot there.
What were you learning? Like everything? Like knife skills?
So, well, yeah, there's that. But also, there's definitely a emphasis on French cuisine, sure. French techniques, which sometimes with my interest in Thai food, I felt, sometimes I wondered like, okay, I'm learning techniques, I'm learning how to cook certain things, but I don't know how much I'm able to apply it to what I'm doing, what I'm interested in doing Thai food.
So you already knew you were interested in Thai food when you were going
to
Culinary Institute.
Definitely. So actually, how about this? Learning all of being taught French cuisine and especially from it seems like there's this mindset of French cuisine is like the pinnacle of cooking. So it seemed like all other cuisines were just like a little side project.
Yeah.
Like a little, like we had a Asian day.
What year was this?
Which, oh man, that was 2015.
Oh, because that was that long ago.
That was a while ago,
but not that long ago. Really in terms of like I think I just heard recently somebody talking about, because me and my wife are pretty big foodies. I'm not a chef. She calls me Chef P. I do all the cooking in our house.
Sure. Well, hey, I mean, there you go.
And I have heard recently people saying that, like chefs saying that French cuisine is not like Paris is not where you're going to get the best food anymore. And so I feel like that's probably recent, like maybe even since 2015 that trend has started to go away.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Andrew Zimmern was talking about, he was thinking the best food countries in the world, and it was crazy the ones that he picked. It was like China, Japan. It was not one. I mean, Japan maybe, but it was would not necessarily think of China, but he was a specific Sichuan province that he went to that was just like amazing. So yeah, it's interesting. But French, I kind of attribute it to like Picasso. Like we went to the Picasso Museum. I went to the Picasso Museum in Barcelona, and his early work is just beautiful. Like he clearly was a trained painter who later went on to like disrupt all of his training. Right. But it's like you got to learn those basics before you can break the mold. Was there any of that for you?
In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. For instance, okay. I mean, I guess I knew how to make a stock already, but like learning how to make it the French way, it was more like, oh, okay, like these are, I'm learning some better techniques, but ultimately, I don't think I needed it. I don't think I was learning like anything that was so specifically a French technique to make a stock, as much as I was just learning a better way to do it, where I was doing some things, maybe, I don't want to say wrong, but maybe not the best. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess any culinary school professor from any cuisine could have taught me better ways to make it. I don't think I necessarily needed like the specific French. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
But, and then on the flip side, I remember getting into a debate with one of my professors once that tried to like really communicate, or we'll just say that, you know, without the French mother sauces and like these foundational, you know, sauces, like no other sauce would exist, and everything is a derivative of mother sauces.
That's what your professor was positing?
That's yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just remember firing back with, well, what about like these Thai curry sauces where the depth of flavor is astronomically beyond any of these mother sauces? The ingredients in the sauce, I mean, it's based on none of these mother sauces. And I wasn't, it felt like another one of those moments of French cuisine is put on this pedestal, and it's wonderful, but the rest of the world was cooking
before those recipes were able to make it to Thailand.
Right. Exactly.
That's impossible.
Like, I mean, it wasn't like, I mean, what were Thai people eating before they found out about mother sauces?
Lunchables.
What? Right.
PBJ.
And like, I don't know. So in some ways, yes, I learned some things in culinary school, but in other ways, it was very insightful to how narratives are made and perpetuated, and how it just takes someone to be like, wait, what?
Right.
Huh? I'm not saying I like changed their curriculum or anything, but I mean, even to just ask like, well, I'm not actually sure that Thai curries needed mother sauces to exist before a Thai curry could. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Where's the science in that?
Where's
show me,
show me the progression of any of these sauces.
Yeah. Start with the history books.
Right. So I don't know. That was a pretty interesting time. And then we had an Asian day.
Yeah.
The whole curriculum is French cuisine focused.
Right.
There was an Asian day where we broke off into small groups, and it was like, okay, you 4 people, y'all got Japan, y'all got China, and we know you like Thai food, so we're gonna put you and the Thai girl in a group together, and then you have to make these recipes. And then even then, it was like these recipes were clearly written by people that did not cook Thai food.
Mm.
So there we were making these recipes where it's like, this isn't even like how the dish is made.
Right.
Oh man, that's so funny. Yeah. So whatever.
So where did your love for Thai food come from?
You know, I feel like I don't know that I really have much profound to say about it, other than it's the cuisine that, like, when I started like really teaching myself how to cook, I really I don't know. I guess the Thai flavor profiles are what most resonated with the kinds of food I like to eat.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, one of the first Thai dishes that I made was lab gai. It's the Thai minced chicken salad, which is like just like a standard Thai dish. It's I mean, everyone knows how to make it, but you know, for me making for the first time, it was just one of those experiences of, oh, like I had this in a Thai restaurant, and when I was eating it there, like I had really no idea where to begin to replicate that, you know, those flavors. I loved it, but then when I finally like made it for the first time, it just suddenly Thai food seemed so much more like I could make this at home. Approachable, learnable. Like it just seems so much more down to earth. Whereas having it at a restaurant, it just seemed so far beyond. Like I wouldn't even know where to begin to like what ingredients makes this flavor.
How did you learn? When you were self-teaching?
So I've got so many cookbooks, even just YouTube. Googling it or YouTubing, searching a dish, and then just watching everything that pops up for it. I eventually, even just on social media, following other Thai restaurants and following Thai chefs and DMing them. Hey, you like, I saw that, you know, this ingredient is in that dish that you made, and, you know, I only ever find it at the Asian grocery store. I can't find it fresh, but is the jarred like pickled version, is that comparable? And like, and you know, sometimes they wouldn't respond, but then other times they're like, oh hey, you know, thanks for asking. And like, actually yes, like that version, the pickled version, is a good substitute if you can't find it fresh. So like, you know, asking more and more questions like that, becoming friends with Thai chefs, making friends with Thai people and just asking them questions, going on little Thai food tours in other cities. And so yeah, just I guess it's really just been this ongoing reading, watching, asking questions,
and doing it.
Even learning to navigate the Asian grocery store, I felt like was a big part of learning how to make Thai food, because especially in the beginning, there was a lot of times where There were ingredients that I was unfamiliar with, that, I was reading about in these cookbooks, and I was unfamiliar with them, and I was trying to find them at the Asian grocery stores, and I couldn't. But then, eventually just learning, I've been walking right past it this whole time. It's just labeled a different way, or, things like that. Kind of learning, some ingredients will just have multiple names. And so, okay, for instance, a basic one, learning to make Thai sticky rice. Sticky rice is not labeled as sticky rice. It's either sweet rice or glutinous rice or sweet glutinous rice. So just learning like some of the other names for ingredients helped me at the Asian grocery store.
And that's for like a dessert, like a mango sticky rice type thing.
And that's why it's called sweet rice, because it's typically used for mango sticky rice. Yeah. Is what I eventually learned. But yeah, sticky rice. It's so funny to think that sticky rice is like a foundational, like staple item for different regions, like northern Thailand. There's a lot of sticky rice eaten there. So it's still kind of funny to me that there's like in other cultures, other cuisines, there's like these staple ingredients that are just so like, I don't want to say basic, or more foundational for the cuisine. And yet over here, there's people like me that are like, oh, how do I find sticky rice?
Oh, I've never had a good
you know what I mean?
sticky rice in
like
the States.
How do I or excuse me, can you help me find the sticky rice aisle? Like I need help, just not knowing. But then you see what I'm saying? It just, and actually that could lead me into like how I came up with the name for the pop-up, Nam Prik Pao. It's roasted chili paste, and it's an ingredient in Thai food that it's used in so many different ways. It can be used in curries and stir fries and salad dressings, in soups. And when I first learned how to make it, I just remember feeling like, man, like these flavors are so far beyond what I've experienced. Like, and it's delicious and wonderful. And it's like a staple ingredient in Thai food. And yet for me, it was like, I haven't even heard about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know about this. It's so new to me. Like the flavor profile is just like so far beyond like what I've experienced in, Southern American food. So like it was one of those things where it's like, how I want more of what is standard Thai food that's lost on, I guess, Americans. Mm-hmm. I want more of those things to become like known.
Right.
Like, I've had these experiences with Thai food where I just dig a little more, and then it's like I taste these things. It's like, man, this is like so far beyond what I'm used to. Mm. And so I guess that's kind of, yeah.
Have you been over there?
I haven't yet. Mm. I'm so excited to, though. Yeah. I'm so excited to get the trip where my partner and I we're piecing together the trip. We're
business partner or life partner, or both.
A little bit of both. I guess it depends on the day. I guess. Yeah.
I think one of the best things I've ever eaten. I was in Bangkok for a few days, and it was this restaurant that literally I think was someone's backyard. Just like picnic tables in someone's backyard in like this alleyway. And I was in Thailand for 4 days, and we went there 2 nights because it was so good. And the mango, like I couldn't believe the mango sticky rice. I had never had anything like that before in my life. It was so simple, and just like, I think a lot of it has to do with specifically the mango.
Oh yeah,
because when having a fresh mango in like a tropical place is way different than having a mango in Virginia. It's like it's not even the same fruit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine too. when it ripens on the vine versus, it's pulled at a certain time and then it ripens as it's being shipped.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Part of that same trip, we were in the island of Nevis, which is in the Caribbean.
Okay.
And we were staying on a property that had mango trees. And so it was literally like they would just fall off the tree and we pick them up off the ground. And it was just like, awesome. Just like the texture is so different. It's so soft and like,
oh yeah,
you could almost just like mush it with a spoon or something like that. Whereas like the ones here, it's like almost more of the texture of like not an apple, but it's closer to that than it is to a soft mushy thing. Yeah.
And see, it's and just like that, like there's this dish, mango sticky rice, which is so common and delicious in Thailand, and there's like so much of, I guess, that experience is kind of lost on us. And I mean, I guess to a certain degree, we would never have the full Thai cuisine experience here in America for exactly that reason. Like, those ingredients are native to Thailand, and we'll never have, like, mango sticky rice.
No, not like that.
Like in Thailand.
You'd have to do some sort of native Virginia fruit version of it. That
right.
Delicious, like plum or something.
Oh, okay. So how about this? At a handful of my pop-ups, I've done like versions of mango sticky rice. So one of them, I do pickled peaches. And
yeah, that's the texture.
It's
a good peach is the texture.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like
that sounds really good.
Oh, I pickled it in like a white wine simple syrup brine, with a bunch of like sweet spices like cardamom, coriander, cinnamon, nutmeg. There's just a bunch of different spices, but yeah, like, is it mango sticky rice? No. Is it delicious with ingredients native to here? Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You don't have to answer this if you don't want, but have you received any pushback not being a Thai person doing Thai cuisine?
Oh, man, I haven't. Okay, so I have been making Thai food as like a side hobby, occasionally doing dinner parties at friends' houses. And when I felt like I wanted to turn this into a business, that was one of my biggest fears of, I'm going to get canceled before I even get started. People are going to be like, who is this white guy coming in here? Especially with a pop-up named a Thai word. Oh, man. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? And I was so scared. But even, all my friends were like, just do it. Like, you're the food, you're making delicious food. Just go for it. Even my Thai friends were very like, no, Brennan, like, we love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, just keep doing it. And, so yeah, I don't know. I made the jump, and then, I guess there's been a couple times where I wouldn't say I got pushback, but there was definitely a couple times where people were kind of sussing me out. Like, hey, I heard about you, and, I heard good things, but like, what's going on here? Like, and then they come to a pop-up and they're like, damn, okay, all right. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, I feel really grateful that, sometimes I feel like, whew, thank you, Richmond, for letting me do this. Yeah. And, nobody being like,
because it could go
pushing back.
It could go that way.
Because it could go that way. Yeah. And, sometimes I think it should go that way. Because sometimes I've seen, I don't know, sometimes you see people bastardizing a cuisine and it's not fusion. It's just like sometimes you can tell like there wasn't really a foundational understanding of the cuisine before somebody started, well, we're gonna do this, this, and this, and not even call it fusion. We're gonna do this, 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 and still call it Thai food. Does that, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Even with my pop-up, I definitely do some pretty off the wall things that are not Thai food, but like I feel like I try to communicate when something is made traditionally and when is something is, and this is just my kooky idea that uses Thai flavors married to a Southern American dish that I grew up.
Well, that's what. Yeah, that is fusion. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and it's always about your intentions with these things. And if your intentions are coming from a good place, then I think that will resonate in the food too.
yeah, totally.
And clearly, your intentions are coming from a good place.
Clearly,
like just a love.
Clearly, I would hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And see, yeah, and to kind of go back to your question, even a lot of people have communicated that to me, which has been another kind of relief. They're like, yeah, it's clear that you love this,
Right.
Like, so yeah, just keep doing it.
Yeah,
Keep-
yeah. And there's something about like, do you have an actual truck?
I don't.
Okay.
That's the next step.
When you do pop-ups, like what's your setup? Like at Ardent.
So it's a very I mean it's just I'm inside at Arden, but
Okay.
like, you know, just setting up the tables, busting out some of my like little countertop burners. Everything is currently, whenever I do a pop-up, it's either I'm completely setting up my own kitchen in a space, or like I'm doing a pop-up at a restaurant when they're closed and I'm using their kitchen space. So yeah, currently there's a lot of loading the car, taking it to the place, unloading, setting up, doing the thing, then closing it all down, cleaning up, loading it back to the car, taking it back to the kitchen, unloading it there. There's a lot of I just can't wait to stop setting up and start pulling up in a food truck, and I just pull up somewhere, open up the window, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
If I can cut out loading the tables, unloading the tables, setting them up, making an outdoor kitchen, that's gonna be. I feel like I have a pretty busy schedule doing these, and like once I have a food truck like as a tool, that it's gonna just make it so much. That'll be one of the things that streamlines the process.
Yeah.
More. And or having a storefront, a brick and mortar.
Do you have? Is the food? Do you want to do like baby steps food truck first, or are you kind of open?
I feel like food truck first, but also even if I just had some little hole in the wall, cubby, nook, kitchen somewhere, even if I just had my own space like that, where it was this is my own personal home base,
just like a small commercial kitchen type situation.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like that could really. I feel like that would propel me.
Sure.
Because currently I'm got like a commissary kitchen arrangement with a restaurant. So like, you know, they're running a full blown restaurant, and then, you know, I've never felt like I've been stepping on anyone's toes or anything, and they've never communicated that like, hey, okay, you're in the way or whatever, but like it's still. I still just want my own space.
Yeah. Have you looked at any of those like Did you ever look at like Hatch or any of those places?
Yeah. I pretty much I can't afford that yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that ended up doing well.
It's kind of funny because it's like to get some of the things that I want to grow this business, I just need more money. I need more events. But to get more events, I need to be having those things to do it. So
have you ever thought about taking out like a small business loan or something?
Now that things are ramping up, yes. Before, the idea of taking out a small business loan seemed too risky, premature. It seemed too. I don't know. I guess now that so back in January, I quit my full-time job so I could focus on doing this. And
was that in a kitchen, your full-time job?
No, I was working. I had a desk. I had a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. So like, I quit that, which also seemed very risky. I remember feeling, I just for months I had that back and forth in my head of, I can't wait to focus on my own business. But then, I don't know, 10 minutes later, it's just like, oh my God, am I about to ruin my life? Financially? Like, am I about to, like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Am I going to quit my job and then, it just, nobody comes to the pop-ups anymore? But it just seems, the trend seems to be the more I put into this, people are just coming. So now that I kind of have that sort of experience and I have more of that mindset, now the idea of taking out a small business loan seems more viable. It seems less of like it seems less risky, I guess. So,
and the thing is, if you're buying a truck or something like that, it's not like you buy that truck, well, for whatever reason, something doesn't work out and you're permanently stuck with that truck. You could always just sell it or whatever.
I mean, yeah.
It's not like a permanent blight. But it also sounds like that's, like you said, we've experienced similar things with the video department. We briefly looked at getting a studio kind of for the same reason, because I'm the same thing. I have to load up all my stuff and take it, set it up, break it down. So it's I wanted to not do that anymore.
Right.
But it's just so expensive.
Yeah.
Just so expensive, and it's like it's impossible for me to justify that cost right now.
Yeah.
But it's different when it's that's the difference between a truck and a lease. Is you could always sell the truck.
Right. Yeah.
With a lease, I mean, you can try and get out of it, but if you're stuck in a 3 or 5 year lease, like we would have been, like, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, and it's funny to think sometimes of like, I'm trying to eliminate the whole process of loading, unloading, setting up, because that part of the process, it's not incredibly hard. It's just time consuming. And, even for the stuff that I'm doing this week, there's 3 events. But then, like, when I start breaking down the load unload time for each event, it's like, man, those are hours where I could have been just prepping food, or it's additional hours where maybe I could have just finally laid down and slept. Oh my gosh. It's so funny to think one of my earliest goals, especially last summer when I was like really starting to do this more on top of having the full-time job, one of my early goals was I need to figure out a way to sleep the night before I pop up. I have to get to a point where I am sleeping even just a few hours before a pop up. I would, there'd be weekends where I'd get like 2-3 hours of sleep a couple of days leading up to the pop-up, and then the night before the pop-up, I'm up all night prepping the food, packing up the napkins, like polishing silverware, rolling. I mean, it was just, I can't. This is not sustainable. And then doing a pop-up, and then the next day, it's Monday and time to go back to my day job. So yeah, one of the early goals was like go to bed, and I got it.
Yeah, good.
I'm going to bed now. I'm getting sleep.
What is, and explain this in as little or as much detail as you want to, like, what are the economics and how does it work to do a pop-up? Like, let's just say Arden, for example. Are they hiring you, or is it all just like, I'm going to be there to be your food and I'm just taking whatever I sell? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so they invited me to come and set up, and then I show up with like a one dish menu and just sell what I sell, and then whatever I don't sell, I just end up eating it myself. Really.
Sure.
But like, yeah. So they're not hiring me. They're not paying for it. They're pretty much just giving me the space to do what I do, which and the timing of them asking me to do it was really great because for the most part I've done these bigger multi-course pop-ups where to buy a ticket, anywhere from $50 to sometimes $85 depending on the menu. You buy a ticket in advance. It's a multi-course meal. So you're kind of like, you got to think ahead, make a commitment, buy the ticket, and then you get to the meal and you're eating like 9 dishes, whatever. So I was really hoping to get into to also do just something so much more low-key. So instead of a 9-course menu where you have to buy a ticket weeks in advance, now you can come see me at Ardent and get a $12 to $15 meal, and that's it.
And what are the challenges in planning for those unknowns? Because I mean, you don't know how many people are going to show up. Like,
yeah. So that's been that was another like big kind of, I guess, fear or challenge of mine of not doing ticketed events, because with the ticketed, how many people are coming, what the menu is, so how much of it you need to make. For these events, it's you don't know what's gonna happen. So I guess I feel like this first couple of months of doing it, it was just I guess the approach was, I'm just gonna do something and then see what happens. So I mean, those first couple of pop-ups, I showed up with way too much food. I was just nervous. I don't want to sell out.
Even though selling out can be a good thing.
But now, well, see, that's one thing I've learned. So, I showed up with way too much food this first few times, and then just kind of, it was one of those things where you just take the information and learn how to make your best guess about the next unknown. So, for instance, those first times I brought way too much food. So then I just started to learn, okay, it looks like, the trend is I'm going to sell about 20 to 30 meals. So anymore, that's what I prep for. And then some nights I've sold 30 meals and everyone's there. It seems like I sell out in an hour. And then some nights I'll prep 30 meals and And maybe there's like there's a squirrels game, or there's some big event. There's like a festival happening, and everyone's there. So it's like I showed up with 30 things, and I didn't sell out. Or there's a squirrels games, and it lets out. So then everyone comes to Ardent's, and I just sell out much later than I normally would. So there's still so many unknowns, and I'm kind of also just learning how to I just be aware of what else is going on in Richmond, so I can kind of say, hey, okay, all right, maybe I don't need to make as much this night because everyone's going to be at this event, or yeah, so or maybe I just make the same amount because once they leave that event, they're going to come here, and then I'm going to sell out. So I don't know. There's still I there's still a lot of unknowns. I don't know when I'll get to a point where I'm just like 100% confident of like what's going to happen.
Yeah, if ever.
Right. I did a pop-up at the Jasper a couple weeks ago. That was another thing where I'm just like, how many people are going to come? What dishes are they going to order? Doing an a la carte menu, it's like I can make a certain number of any of these dishes. I don't know which ones are going to sell. I don't know if... Yeah, I don't know. And then, fortunately, so many people came. Mm-hmm. And we're waiting like an hour in line just to get inside, just to get a table. And I sold out of everything. Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking, man, I'm over here buying like these ribs. They're $13 a pound. Mm-hmm. I'm buying all this crab meat that's like $20, $40 a pound. Like I'm buying all of this stuff, and I hope people come and eat it, because it was one of those things where it's like I want to make these dishes that are like what I thought was like really impressive, but also it's gonna really hurt, just financially, if I'm investing this much and it turns out just a few people came. So I was like, I felt it felt risky.
It is a risk, yeah. You're betting on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one of the times where it paid off. So I was really happy with how that turned out.
Think you'll go back there?
What's that?
Think you'll have another one there?
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, definitely. So, but there have been times where, like, even for like a ticketed event, there's been times where they've sold out. And there's been I say times. There was one time where the ticket sales were so low leading up to the event that I was like, damn, I couldn't even purchase all of the ingredients to do this menu without going into the hole. Mm-hmm. And then having to hire people to help me go into the hole even more. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, I haven't sold enough tickets. I gotta gotta cancel it. And I mean, I hate to cancel a dinner, especially when, somebody there was somebody that bought a ticket and was like excited to go. But I just remember thinking, I can't work for days straight only to lose hundreds of dollars. Mm-hmm. Like if I know that's what's gonna happen, I'm not. I'll take no part.
No,
I'll take.
Why would you? No.
So I mean,
Yeah, I've been in plays where, they'll say like, if we don't have 10 audience members tonight, we cannot afford to pay the actors.
Yeah,
and so we will not do the show. And it's like, okay, that's fair. I mean, it sucks. Too funny. Sucks for all of us, but I understand. Right. You're running a business,
right?
So what? As we're starting to come to the end of our time here, have you? I'm just curious. Have you always like had the creative flair in you, or was this ignited with your passion for Thai food?
I feel like to some degree I've always been like the artsy kid. I was in bands, playing instrument. Well, I played clarinet. I had like a guitar at home. So I mean, I've always had that kind of expression or mindset, or creative. So but out of everything I've done, I feel like cooking has been the thing that has lasted. Everything else was like, I don't know, some like ADHD. This is what I'm into now, kind of thing. And like, sure, I did some of those things, and I was, I guess, like good at them, but it's the cooking that has always been a thing. Does that make sense?
When did you start cooking? Like, how old were you when you started cooking?
I mean, I feel like even as a kid, like I don't know. I think my mom taught me how to make like scrambled eggs when I was in first grade, and
that's pretty young.
So yeah. I mean, I remember I had to stand on like some like little stool thing, just so I could be at the oven or stovetop scrambling eggs. I don't know, and I just ever since then I've always, I don't know, in the kitchen making some thing. And then even being in Surrey County, where there was so limited food options, and not only limited food options, but just limited options of stuff to do, just being out in the middle of nowhere, kind of, I felt like a lot of that creative energy was, I don't want to say it was because of boredom, but it was just, I just ended up spending a lot of time in the kitchen. Like that was what I did. Like that was my hobby. That was how I kept myself entertained, and just kind of like having an adventurous kind of I don't know, food palette. I felt like I had to kind of make that I had to make that happen for myself in my own house, because like, I don't know, otherwise it was just like, do we want pizza or fried chicken, right, from the restaurants around us? Which, don't get me wrong, I mean, I love pizza and fried chicken.
Great combo.
But right, but I mean, when those are pretty much your only options, I don't know. It was just, cooking was my way of just like getting beyond or outside of my surroundings. Yeah.
So that's a perfect way to bring us to our sort of final question, which I ask all of my guests, which is, what would your advice be for a young person who maybe has similar aspirations to you?
Ooh, okay. I would say, just don't be afraid to ask questions. I mean, like that story earlier today, just asking the person at the grocery store, where's the sticky rice? I mean, stupid questions are just how you're gonna get to figure out what to do. I mean, I feel like there's no getting around that. But like, otherwise, yeah, ask stupid questions, and I would say even, I feel like one thing that has contributed to the success of what I'm doing is asking the questions, or having the mindset of the answer is always no unless you ask. Like, so just even, I mean, that's how I got to do some of those first pop-ups. Like it felt like such a crazy idea to ask Sub Rosa, a nationally recognized bakery, whatever, like, can I do a pop-up at y'all's space? Like it felt like, of course they're gonna say no, but they said yes. So just ask for crazy things, ask stupid questions, ask things that you think are not going to happen, because sometimes they actually do. And then and I guess maybe the last one, and I don't know how to make this not sound cheesy, but just like the believe in yourself. I mean, just to have that kind of mentality of I remember last summer when I really started doing the pop-ups, like, we'll just say vigorously. I remember what contributed to me doing them more and more was I remember my mindset of just feeling like, I'm starting to believe for myself what my friends have been telling me this whole time. And like when I started to like really like have that mentality of just like, you know what, my friends are right. Like this does taste good and people are enjoying it. Like I feel like that was such a huge barrier that I didn't really fully know was there, but once it was gone, that I feel like that's what really just got me into that just driven, I'm doing this. Maybe I'm gonna screw some things up along the way, but it's just like, yeah, this is what I'm good at. This is what I love to do. This, like, people are liking it. Like, and then once I got into that mindset, it just felt so much easier to just like really dig into it. Yeah. So that was a really good summer. There was a lot of personal growth. And yeah, without that, I mean, it just, I definitely wouldn't have this busy ass schedule that I do. So,
speaking of busy ass schedule, remind us again where people can find you. Remind us what you have coming up that's open to the public, at least.
Oh yeah, okay. So every Thursday, I'm at Ardent Barrel Room,
which is also, what night is it?
Karaoke night.
It's karaoke night.
Okay, so I start serving food at 6. And they start karaoke at 7.
Yeah, so if you're anti-karaoke...
if you're anti... you can come do both. A lot of people do, but there are some people that just come, they got to get food and then get out before the singing starts.
They want to get far away
They get it far away from singing. So, hey, choose your own adventure. So there's that. I'm starting to be at Blue Bee Cider every Sunday for like a lunch, noon to 4.
And is that Manchester? Did they move to Manchester? Where are they?
I thought that was like a Staples Mill.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So that's every Sunday. And then I would say my next, so those are more like low key, I show up with like a one dish kind of menu. But the next a la carte menu is at Hotel Green on the 21st. So in just over a week. And that's going to be more of like 7 dishes on the menu. Pick what you want. You can get all of them if you want. You should get all of them. You should definitely get all of them.
Do you have anything beyond that book lined up?
So, let me pull out my calendar.
Do it.
No. But I mean, I'm gonna be in the RVA Wing Wars.
Yes, I saw that. I'm excited about that.
Me too. I'm really excited to see to taste the other chef's wings for, I guess, a couple reasons. One, just because I love trying new food. And then, sometimes too, I just want to taste them just to see how mine stand up.
Is that open to the public?
To them. It's ticketed, but yeah.
Gotcha.
It's
open
to the
try
public.
All the wings, you get to buy a ticket.
You buy a ticket. It's $40. And I mean, there's already, I want to say 12 different chefs.
Really? Oh wow.
And restaurants.
That's more than I thought. Yeah.
So and they're steady adding more.
And where is that? And when?
That'll be at Blue Bee Cider on Saturday, the 22nd.
The week after.
No, not the 22nd. Or the 22nd.
Okay. Go to.
I don't know.
Do you have a website, or is it just Instagram?
So, I do have a website, but all of this, follow my Instagram.
Follow the Instagram. Like I said at the beginning, follow the Instagram.
Follow the Instagram. I post stuff on my website. I post stuff on Facebook. And there's just very low traction.
It's Instagram. Yeah.
But Instagram, those people are on it.
Yeah.
That's where, I mean, it's so funny because I'll send out emails. Nothing. I'll put the same post from Instagram on Facebook. Nothing. Instagram though, I mean, it's just, yeah. So that's where I focus most of my energy.
Sure.
And it's actually the easiest to do.
Yeah.
So
it is.
It feels like a no-brainer at that point. But yeah, I have my schedule, my monthly schedule on Instagram. And then yeah. Also I do these I've got several private parties coming up. So like, I mean, that's a whole other thing. I love doing. So for instance, sometimes people are like, hey, I would love to come to your pop-ups, but I have this dietary thing, and so it's like I can't always eat what you're serving, but I still want to support and try your food. I love doing private parties for those reasons. With those custom menus.
Would you feel comfortable sharing, like, what's a point of entry for a private event, like a price point, like?
Okay, yeah. So I feel like my sweet spot is like I've done like 7-course meals for like, we'll just say 12 people at pretty much like $100 a head. So, which isn't much more than like a ticket for one of the bigger pop-ups that I do at like a restaurant. It's just,
and certainly probably less than if you were to go to a restaurant and get a 7-course meal. It's going to be at least that much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, the thing is too, and I tell people, I really like to be flexible in that it doesn't have to be a 7-course meal. I could show up with one dish and feed 20 people for potentially like not potentially, for much less than $100 a person.
Right.
So like, it's just one of those things. Like, I mean, I've shown up to someone's backyard. They were having a party and I'm just back there making fried rice.
Yeah.
Just huge batches of fried rice. Everyone's eating fried rice. Everyone's happy. And you didn't have to spend $1,200 and you fed so much more people. So it's just like, there's a lot of different dials I can turn to.
Well, I'm going to propose to Sean that we do a networking event. And, it would be like more like hors d'oeuvres, like, small things. Yeah. But, and Sean and I go 50-50 in hiring you to like cater that. And the video department and Brick Road Rental will be like the sponsors.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
I love it.
We're going to do that. I'm going to make that happen.
Please.
Yeah. Sean, I know you're listening. We're doing this, buddy.
There we go.
All right, Brennan, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Thank you. I loved it.